See, I feel like the tumbleweed salesman from Family Guy. Everybody laughed at me when I said Happy Death Day was using a time loop story that would really put a fresh take on horror movies. But who's laughing now, bitch? But there isn't much to say since movies like The Time Traveler's Wife and Benjamin Button have shown that using time and romance and slice of life films make for really interesting stories. Plus, it's not like Asa Butterfield is getting any younger, so might as well keep using him for high school student characters. This looks to be sweet, funny, and really charming for what it's worth, and looks to tell us about some obvious lessons, like not fucking up the first date the first time. Thanks, I thought I got it after the 100th time. Yes, getting more story out of my trailers, my favorite. I mean, as much a setup as it looks to be, I'm putting too much hype into a sequel of a decent film that was a hidden sequel of an even better film. As viable as this franchise is looking for investors, I hope this creates a good closing to a trilogy that nobody thought they could ever ask for. We see plenty of stakes here, and I hope that Momentum still has those great character moments and performances that isn't marred by this action. I guess every time you put Taraji P. Henson in a good movie like Hidden Figures, you get stuff like this that gets you pumped up about American history. Hell yeah! The Best of Enemies is directed by the producer of Free State of Jones and the first Hunger Games, which means it's his directorial debut, and has some kind of experience in something. Even with the hype of this trailer, this movie can either be a controversial based on a true story film, or looks like an upbeat hit with great performances by Sam Rockwell and Henson. Looking forward to it. Isabelle has such a weird trailer for a low-budget film because it feels like less of a jump scare clutterfest with generic spook music and more of an actual premise. The part that scared me the most was that whole mirror thing where you expect the ghost to show up right behind her and it doesn't. Gee, like it's actually trying to creep me out rather than give me a freaking heart attack. The rest of the trailer does end up feeling far too cliche though, and demonic possession is really getting done to death. Thank you, Insidious franchise, for making it more interesting. Still, can't quite figure out what this movie reminds me of, but it feels like it's taking some liberties. Well, two can play at that game, said Paramount Pictures, who have decided to make their very own successful Stephen King adaptation film. I mean, the one that's not called Dark Towers, to be exact. I'm talking about It. But nonetheless, what looks to be a hopeful film that captures the dark and spookiness that felt sillier in the original adaptation. I mean, the sounds and eeriness really does capture my attention. They definitely took care of that. But it still feels like a more polished version of the original 1987 film. But I'm glad studios are taking chances with their directors, as Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, usually weird names with these people, have made movies that were probably good but I've never heard of. So Brendan just put their posters of their movies to make it look like I know. Oh yeah, but it looks pretty good.